And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Faye Watt. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspots Happening Out's The Faye Watt Show. Faye, TransSOCIAL, to honor Marsha P. Johnson's legacy on August 24th. Tell us what's happening up.
On Sunday, August 24th, TransSOCIAL will honor the life and legacy of Marsha P. Johnson, a pioneering Black trans activist born in 1945. The commemoration will recognize her role as a key figure in the Stonewall uprising and her lifelong dedication to advocating for the rights of transgender people, queer youth, and those pushed to society's margins. The event will highlight Johnson's co-founding of STAR, Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries, an organization created to support unhoused trans and queer youth. Community members, allies, and activists will gather to celebrate her birthday by uplifting Black trans voices, sharing her history, and continuing her mission for equality. TransSOCIAL advocates for trans visibility and unity within the TLGBQ+ community. It is currently serving the community in Florida and in Georgia. For more information is available at transsocial.org. You know, like we all know that history is being erased right and left in schools, etc. You know, we don't celebrate, LGBTQ+ history anymore. You know, we wouldn't be sitting at this table right now being able to talk about our lives and how we live it and who we love if it weren't for those people throwing the bricks and throwing the shot glasses back in 1968 and having our first pride that was a protest and not a pride of like flags and partying and all of that. It was like, see us, we deserve the same rights as anyone else, you know? And back then that she was fighting for queer youth, and today we're still fighting for queer youth.
And these youth could learn something because she was born in 1945. That was 1969 for Stonewall. She was 24 years old. She was young. Wow. So this is a message to young people that you can get out there and you can make a difference. And you can also create a really cool acronym. STAR is one of the best acronyms ever. That's a great 4-letter acronym. She did a great job.
It's like, it's interesting how, the word transvestite was used that way back then, you know, and like you'll still come across some folks that have that in their repertoire and we'll try to say, hey, we don't really use that word anymore. But back then that was the word.
Language, right.
We have Raji sits at this table all the time and she considers herself, that word because she was so used to using it. Right. But to start something like that back then, to be a Black trans woman, sex worker, marginalized, and still saying, no, this doesn't stop here. I'm going to help my sisters. I'm going to help activism. But it gives me goosebumps because that's who we are, her legacy.
Sure. Absolutely, and it can't be erased. I mean, I remember being a young person coming out in my early 20s and going to Stonewall bar and just hearing the stories and, seeing some of the people who were actually there at that time.
Yes.
And now we're lucky enough that we have the Stonewall Museum here in Fort Lauderdale as, a nod to that time in our history.
100%.
We need to keep that for future generations.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And Robert Keston over at Stonewall has made it his life mission to make sure that we have those history papers in place for future generations.
Those are
right? And TransSOCIAL will make sure that trans folks are always remembered, that we remember that our LGBTQ+ history, we don't have any history without the trans community.
That's right.
We don't, especially Black and brown trans folks. So TransSOCIAL, Morgan Mayfair, Ashley Mayfair, you are the power couple that I wish I were. Right, I tell my wife that all the time. We gotta be like them. We gotta be like them. Jess, all the folks, Spider, all the folks over there at TransSOCIAL, they are doing the damn thing. They are doing the dirty work. They are doing the work that we should all be inspired by.
Kudos to TransSOCIAL. And Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at TransSOCIAL on August 24th. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.